trying to figure out. I was trying to interpret it the best way I could for myself.
Interpretate it.
And wait.
That'll be
interpret
when you in post when you're splicing this one up and you hear yourself say interpretate, that'll be a good one. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and well, that's pretty much it. So let's go.
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different album from a different band and we break it down. We do all the research we could possibly do. We find out all the little secrets about these records and these bands, and we let everyone else know because, you know, this is Asinine Radio. That's what we do. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts because that means a lot. Outside of actually listening, that means a lot. So go do that. My name is Tyler, way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether is Jeff. Now, Jeff, what are we doing today? What do we got?
Doing Cake. I forgot the album.
Comfort Eagle.
Comfort Eagle.
So, Jeff, what do you have? What is your origin story with Cake? What do you got? The band, Cake.
I don't know. I think before this week, I've probably only heard 5 or 6 Cake songs, and my origin story is probably just Short Skirt or The Distance at some point in that era. And because those songs on the surface are very similar, I never listened to Cake because I felt like, okay, I heard those and they all sound pretty the same. So I get it. I get the band.
Okay, understandable.
I don't think there's a lot more to the band, but I think that's purposeful. So I mean I don't have like any real origin story other than when most people saw the videos for these songs and then forgot about them and then hear them during karaoke or coming on the speakers at the mall or something. I don't know. That's it.
Okay, all right. That's an origin story. I mean, that's what I wanted. That's what I was asking for.
That's what you asked for. That's what you got.
That's what I got. So my origin story with this band, the first time I ever heard them was Short Skirt, Long Jacket, and it was the video on MTV. That was the first time I ever saw it. I loved it. I thought it was so funny. And of course I recorded it on a VHS tape. And then like shortly after it, they released another version of it, the New York version of it. Recorded that one too. And I would just watch those 2 videos all the time. Me and a friend of the pod, Sean, we were just obsessed with the 2 different music videos for that song, for Short Skirt, Long Jacket. And we, to the point where we knew what everybody was going to say at what point of the song. Like we were just obsessed with those videos. And it was stupid. It was really stupid. And then going through high school, like early part of high school, a friend of the pod, Jessica, her mom really liked Cake. So anytime we would go to her house or her mom would take us somewhere, she'd always throw Cake on. So I just heard Comfort Eagle so many times and Fashion Nugget so many times in high school. So that's my origin story. And then ever since like post high school, I never really went back to them unless I came across the Short Skirt, Long Jacket video. Never really went back to them. But yeah, that's my origin story. Okay. Very short lived. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all then, right?
Yeah. So I mean, this is Asinine Radio. Thank you all for listening. No. So then, what are your after this week and after listening to all their records? What are your initial thoughts on Comfort Eagle?
So, well, I gotta take it back a little bit. I gotta go back to Motorcade. After listening to Motorcade, I was entranced. I was over the moon. I could not believe the band that did Short Skirt, which is a fine song. It's not a great song. It's fine
a great
song.
Get out of here.
It's nostalgic. It's fine.
Such a cock.
But Motorcade, I thought it was absolutely mind blowing to me. It was unbelievable. And I started like after I listened to their first 4 and then going into Pressure Chief, which I did not like, I realized this band is a joke band. This band is a band that purposely never changed their sound. This is a band that prided themselves on such simplicity that like only they could pull off. If you look at like their album covers, who they are as like people, like their music that they do, everything is so fucking basic, but it's not basic enough to be dumb. It's just nuanced enough to kind of thrust them into like their own category. And even still today, like there's nobody that sounds like them. There really isn't. And they can be indie at times. They can be like alternative at times, and but like overall they're Cake. And even their name Cake, like I've always thought until this week it was in reference to like a birthday cake, a cake you eat. But it's not. It's in reference to like shit stuck under your shoe, like your shoes are all caked up with gunk. Like that's the cake that they were referencing.
And you can't get it off
when naming this band. And it's so, man, it is so on point with this band. Like you just can't get away from this sound.
It's so on point and so subtle at the same time. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's kind of it's the subtlety of this band that makes them so interesting, because they're not over the top quirky. They're not over the top anything. They're just kind of, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird combination of things that involve this band. I don't know.
They try so hard to be normal and basic, and in doing so, they're unique. Because nobody tries to be normal. Nobody tries to be basic, but Cake does. Bizarre, man.
They're super cool, man. They're super cool.
Yeah, they're 1,000 times cooler than I ever thought this week was going to be like.
Oh God. Okay, so my kind of initial thoughts on this record, I would really, this album, Comfort Eagle and Fashion Nugget, were the only ones I had ever heard. Like I said, because of when I was in high school, that's all I ever listened to from them. So I was familiar with that, and I just was expecting more of just that, and I was looking forward to it. I was excited, and then after hearing Motorcade just was fucking great. It was so good, and then hearing how they kind of progress into the more electronic stuff, which was really cool too. I think they're just a solid band through and through. There's nothing like spectacular about them, but there are moments that are really, really good. Definitely really fantastic moments, but and this is one of those records. There's not really a low moment on this record, but when they shine, they do it really well, and I think it's great. So, do we have any stinkers on this one?
No,
okay,
nothing even close to a stinker. I have a lot of okays, but there's nothing even like I even considered that it would even kind of be a stinker.
True. I'm totally with you on that. So there are 11 songs on here. I have 5 bangers. The rest are okay to good. So what do you want to... I mean, I guess we could start with Short Skirt, or do you want to start with your biggest banger? What do you want to do?
No, we already played Short Skirt, so let's get into Short Skirt. That's not my biggest banger.
Okay, that is my biggest banger, by the way, because I'm basic. So,
okay.
So what do you got on this one? What do you got written? What do you think about it?
It's an interesting song, and after all these years, it still interests me. And this song is just this band is about building tension, and it's the way he delivers everything. It's just like constantly you're waiting for something to happen, but it never does. On this album, on the previous album, on the next album, it's like they released 5 fucking albums of just crescendo, and it's unbelievable that this band is so... These are plain old people. This band is so vanilla, but it's like, who wants to be vanilla? Cake is the only band that I can think of that strives to be vanilla, and they just absolutely slay it. And this song is like a perfect example of that. There's a little bit going on here. Like there's some weird hi-hat usage Like there's some hitting there, some stuttering and weird rhythms that he's using. Bass is very low, very deep. Overall, across all of their albums, the bass is my favorite part. I think the bass is always just, he won't shut up. He's just constantly going, never stops. And then I don't know, for such a basic song and such a stupid song, there are other little things here too, like the pause. The pause is so long. It's so weird.
It's really
it's like it's 1 millisecond away from being too long. It is just long enough.
I know. The band is, like I said, they're all about subtlety, and they're one of the best at it. The self-deprecating subtlety of it all is, if that's a good way of describing them, but that's what they are. They're very self-deprecating, lyrically, musically, how they treat themselves in music videos. It's great. It's really good.
That's another thing too about like the videos that we'll talk about here is Short Skirt and Long Jacket. Like it's a reaction video essentially, but this is not like a reaction video worthy song, right? This is not some like super crazy speed metal and you're going into like the heart of Alabama to play it, or some crazy hip hop stuff going into, expensive, rich, carefree white people Arizona. It's like the song's fine, and then to get like boring reactions from people about a boring song is what this song is about. And in essence, like that sounds boring, but it's fucking fantastic.
It's so fascinating. And then in the video for it too, there are so many moments where it's just like a shot of somebody just with no facial expressions. They're not saying anything. They're just literally just standing there listening for like a good 5 seconds. And it's almost to the point where it's unsettling, but then it jumps to somebody else. And you're like, okay, like you're not annoyed. You're not frustrated. It's just that perfect amount of time of making it slightly awkward, but not uncomfortable.
Why is that funny? Like
it's so funny.
Eating a delicious slice of pizza is one thing, and then eating a shitty slice of pizza is one thing. But eating like a mediocre slice of pizza, like who wants to watch that? And that's what this fucking video is about.
And what makes the video really great too, I might be is it the New York version? I think it's a New York version where at the very end they have the German tourist.
And
like, I miss the rising action.
Yeah,
the rising action, and that absolutely perfectly sums up this band.
Nothing happens.
You can
so good.
And that's what's so great about it, because John McCrea directed the videos. Like he was the guy who it was his idea, it was his videos. And to put that at the end of the video, I think is the best thing he could have possibly done. That I miss the rising action. Like one of the purest things you could possibly say about this band is just how there is no rising action.
There's nothing going on with this band.
Wild.
This band is so vanilla. This band takes like the Primus sucks, like mindset, and just like amplifies that into like, yes, Cake does really suck. Like we are not good in any way. And then let's continuously do the same thing over and over and over and love it.
But then it is really good. Yeah. It's so confusing. Oh my gosh, dude, the video is so good.
And that's not even like the most boring video here, right? Because that's the other video that we'll get into is even more drab and boring and lame and like awful and stupid and great at the same time.
Yeah, but then it's like, so I mean, I guess we'll talk about this song later, so we'll get into that video later, but
Short Skirt's fine. It's iconic. It's my 3B.
It opens up with that trumpet.
It's my 3B.
Oh, 3B, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are two other songs that I really, really like that I didn't know I was gonna like. So maybe it's just because I've heard it so many damn times.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's
also
fun.
In this song, in Short Skirt, Long Jacket too, the part when it does stop, and then it's the drum roll back into that doom doom doom. It is so basic. It's what every fucking band has ever done in the history of music. Just that roll back in to the song. But they just perfected it. They just perfected the awkwardness of a song. Not to be like a caricature of themselves. I don't know. They're such a weird band.
I think that's like a good thing. Like, no, you're right, kind of on that one. Is Cake is a band that was unique to start with, and then became a joke of their former self. But their former self was already a joke, and so the joke just kept getting more and more crazy and stupid with every subsequent release.
Really, really has, really has. So, what do you got? What do you got lyrically on this one?
I thought this was like a play on unrealistic expectations on significant others. Like,
yeah, that's what I got too.
My favorite line from this song has always been the touring the facility and picking up slack line.
Yeah.
Like, I've always imagined like somebody who, some fat cat who's rich enough to just buy a fucking facility. And then on their first day of touring the facility they just bought, they're already picking out stuff that they could do better. Like, oh, that guy's not working hard enough. That guy's not doing this. It's like, bro, you just fucking bought the place. Relax. That's how I picture this line as going.
Okay. The one line I've always liked was in that same verse, and it's with fingernails that shine like justice and a voice that is dark like tinted glass. It's not really the lyrics, it's how he says it, because honestly, I can't even explain how I feel about it, because it's not. He just has this slight way of enunciating certain words, but I can't even explain how he does it.
The way
I don't know. It's almost like a positive way he says it, like with fingernails that shine like justice. I don't know. I did not do that justice at all, but
the way he sings, I was thinking about it this week. The way he sings is kind of twofold. One, it's how we make fun of each other. Like, oh, my name is Ryan. I am an asshole. Oh, like that thing. And then also like when Peter is mimicking like John Wayne. I'm John Wayne, Pilgrims. Like that.
Wait, who?
Was it that Family Guy, right? When Peter was... Peter Griffin? I'm John Wayne, Pilgrims. No? Okay.
Are you thinking of Arrested Development instead?
No, that definitely wasn't. Arrested Development was not funny.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
Don't try so hard. Arrested Development was not funny. But that's how I feel like he sings is an over exaggeration of how you would make fun of somebody else. But that's how he sings. That's how that's his delivery, which in essence is making fun of himself.
It's true. Man, that's good stuff. It's good stuff.
3B. That was your 1B?
That's my 1B, yeah.
Hey, okay. All right.
This is the best on the record. I've never ever gotten sick of this song. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So you want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
What do you got for your 2B? Or no, wait, what was your 1B?
That wasn't my 1B. So.
No, what was your 1B?
Pretty Pink Ribbon. Ribbon.
Really?
Who wants to wear a ribbon? Like from Seinfeld?
Really? What? No, I don't remember that.
That's right.
So what do you like about the song?
Dude, this is just a fun, danceable song. And
really?
I don't even really know what it is about this song. I think it's just so fun. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. I think it's poppy. It really connected. I really liked it. I dug it. I got into it.
Interesting. See what I put down in my notes is that this is just like a pretty basic alt rock song with a lot of palm muted downstrokes. And then you throw in like some cool little effects and some trumpet throughout it. But otherwise it's a very kind of like, I guess you could say like Weezer, like mid-90s Weezer right.
Well, it's very repetitive. I mean, there's really no chorus, there's no verse. He's repeating the same stanza over and over, but changing the words up a little bit. And it's a repetitive song that kind of showcases their seemingly ineptitude at writing a good song, but it is a good song.
I don't know. This one wasn't a banger for me.
Well, that's wrong, for one. That's wrong.
This song was probably the most confusing song to me because lyrically, I couldn't. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to interpret it the best way I could for myself.
Interpretate it.
wait.
That'll be
Interpret.
when you in post when you're splicing this one up and you hear yourself say interpretate. That'll be a good one.
Interpretate.
That'll be a fun one. Interpretate. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's so bad. It's so terrible.
It's pretty. It's all right.
Interpret. Just interpret. Wow. Jesus Christ. This is a mess. But I don't know what the fuck he's talking about lyrically in this song. I couldn't figure it out.
So for one, I had no idea that he wrote songs that were not completely just stupid. There's actual meaning to a lot of his songs, if not all of his songs. This one seemed to be kind of like a joke also. This one was about how easy women have it. They can wear their tight jeans and get away with a lot of stuff because they're women. But if you dig a little deeper, he puts so much emphasis, so much focus on the "you'd end up just like me" part of his singing, that I think he's trying to say how miserable it is being a man. You have it so easy, women, but in doing so, he's also contributing to how miserable it is being a woman. So it's this like cyclical, self-deprecating thing where he shits on somebody else and they shit on him, and it just goes back and forth. And so I think I don't know. I think it's just an eye opener. Really, it doesn't really mean anything. It is what it is type of stuff. Doesn't go anywhere. First things first. Like he says, it's hard being me. You're lucky it's you, but in doing so, you're kind of diminishing what it's like to be them. And in also doing so, it's making it hard for them to be them.
Okay, I can see that. I
thought it was cool.
I guess I wasn't able to kind of put that into words, but I can see that.
That's good. Yeah, that's for sure my 1B.
What? That's crazy. Like even the song itself, it's rough. You know what? I'm gonna play a little bit of it because why the hell not? So. Here's Pretty Pink Ribbon from The Cakes. There it is, Pretty Pink Ribbon from Cake. One of the closers of the record. It's good. It also kind of reminds me of a very kind of like 50s, I don't want to say doo-wop, but it would be played like at like a school dance, know, like you're watching a movie like Happy Days or something or something like that. And it would be a song played at a school dance, school homecoming or prom or something.
Yeah, it's just
that's kind of how I view it.
It's just very basic. It's very basic in its approach, and it's just, there's no like chorus, there's no verse. It's just the same thing over and over and over, and it's all downstrokes, and it's so simple. And I think like going along with the lyrics and thinking that life is that simple. Life is simple as saying. You have it easy because you're a woman. You have it easy because you're a man. You have it easy because this. I think that simple kind of thinking, I think it's just a perfect like combination of lyric and music together. And
I can see that.
And it's catchy.
Yeah, and then I guess like when you think about relating the lyrics to the music, it's very 50s sounding. So you're kind of I don't know, the viewpoint is kind of like how the guys have to try harder back then than they do now, I guess you could say, or than they did in the early 2000s, where like you were trying to impress the girl, you were trying to do this. Like the girls had it so easy because they can get whatever guy they wanted, but I feel like by the time like the early 2000s hit, the things had kind of changed. Like girls were much more selective of who they wanted to be with or who they wanted to date or whatever. Maybe that's kind of what it is.
That's what's so perfect about this song is yes, that's kind of what he's getting at, is how easy it is to be a woman. You can just wear these tight jeans and just be a piece, and everybody will give you whatever they want. But now you're pigeonholing women to be just one thing, and if they're not in shape, if they can't wear tight jeans to make them look like they're supposed to on the TVs or whatever, you're diminishing who they are because they don't fit whatever you think they're supposed to, whatever you think is making their life easy. And so I think it's a terrible song, like morally, Like he's a total douche
yeah.
for saying it, but it's very interesting because you're right. Like going along with lines with the cover art and the cake theme of just society really sucks. And I agree. I think like the 50s people thought like, oh, being a woman's probably really easy. You just have to work super hard at home and take care of the kids and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everybody, and it's no big deal. Easy.
Just make your husband happy. Yeah, that's all you need to do.
Go to bed late and wake up early. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
The husband have it hard. They got to go to work all day and fucking drink after work or whatever. I don't know. Pretty Big Ribbon's
Watch
dope.
TV.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Okay, so that was your 1B.
Yeah.
So then what do you got for your 2B?
2B, Long Line of Cars.
Ah, okay. This is my 5B.
Long Line
So
of Cars.
what do you think about this one?
This is another groove song. This matches the theme here. So like this song just keeps droning on, right? It just drones on and it feels like it's going somewhere, but it never does. Much in true Cake fashion. The ending a little bit kind of seems to crescendo a little bit, but again, we're left with
Barely.
nothing. Not even a relief note at the very end. It leaves us hanging completely. So that's what I get musically, which goes along with like the lyrics. Literally, I think it's about traffic. Where does traffic start? Where does it end? Like, if you're ever driving in traffic, do you ever wonder, like, when the fuck did this happen? Who is at the front of this line? Like,
I do it every day.
You know what I mean?
Man. I
Like-
did that today.
Who-
Oh, God.
who is at the
I
front of
was
this
stuck in
fucking
traffic
line?
for over an hour.
Oh God, fuck that noise.
For over an hour this morning, dude. From here to from Yorba Linda out to fucking Temple City. Have you ever been to Temple City?
I know, but I know where it's at. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I've never been there either, but it's past Rosemead and it's
Yeah.
fucking far.
Yes.
It took me over an hour, and and it fucking sucked. And I was stuck in traffic on the 10 freeway. If anybody familiar with Southern California freeways, the 10 freeway, I was stuck out there, and yeah, it was backed up, parking lot, and then just opens for no reason. No reason.
But like,
It just fucking opens up.
you think who was doing? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Who was doing
Why
this?
is it stopped?
And this reminds me of a scene in Mission Impossible 3, I think it is, where Tom Cruise is pretending to be some type of traffic guy who works for like the city, and he tells people, you can track the ripple effects of one person slamming on their brakes for miles, and it's
I've heard
totally
that.
and it's
That too.
totally true. Like you really can, and I think Long Line of Cars, like this song, is musically about that and like metaphorically about that, literally about traffic. Metaphorically, like our society as a whole, we are part of this society and we make it worse individually, but we can't live somewhere else, right? We're all stuck in traffic. And until we're willing to not be in traffic, thus not be a part of society or not be a part of what's making society worse, there's still going to be traffic. But we're always waiting for traffic to open up. We're waiting for someone else in front of us to go faster so we can go faster. But if nobody else, if it never opens up and no one else ever goes faster, we're still stuck in this horrible society. I think that's what Long Line of Cars is about.
See, I kind of thought something a little bit different. I thought something like a little bit more personal to him. I viewed the line of cars being all of the bullshit that's kind of like this is from the viewpoint of somebody who's stubborn and sensitive at the same time. So he allows all of these shitty feelings to just kind of build up in his mind. So his mind is just muddled of just stuff, and he doesn't know how to like just let things go because he's so stubborn, but he's so sensitive at the same time. So everything's just sitting there. And like, I think there's a line that says like, don't think so gray or something like that. Like he only views things black and white. So it's just like, it's either good or bad. And it's mostly bad in his mind because of the sensitivity and his stubbornness. So he never lets it go. So it's just a traffic jam of just emotions in his mind. And that's what I got from it. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense too. I mean,
There's not a lot to go off of in this. There aren't a ton of lyrics on this song. So.
I will say, like, the ambiguity in his lyricism and kind of the complexity in the way he writes songs is just, I had no idea.
Yeah. I thought this would be much more like at face value,
Yeah.
which it is at moments for sure. But you get songs like there's a song about suicide on here too that it's pretty explicit, but the way he portrays it is doesn't make it seem that way until you really look into it. But anyway, this song, yeah, this one, I could be completely off the rails here, but yeah, that's kind of how I viewed it, and how in the end he just needs to get over it and just get past his stubbornness and his sensitivity, his oversensitivity, and just get on with life. So that's how I viewed this one lyrically.
I like in my mind, where I think a lot is in my mind.
Yeah,
I imagine
so.
Falling Down, the movie with Michael Douglas, when he's sitting in. I don't know if you've seen Falling Down, but like Michael Douglas is in traffic, and the entire
okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the entire movie is set off because he's in LA traffic, and he gets out of his car in the middle of traffic. He's like, "Fuck this," and then he leaves and just leaves his car there, door open, and then goes on this rampage. But like, until we're willing to leave traffic, until we're willing to leave problems, whether it be like your personal problems or societal problems, until we're willing to leave that, if we're still just going to sit in traffic like a bunch of sheep, then nothing's really going to change, because sheep go to heaven and goats go to hell. But for real. It's a good song. It's my TV. Sure. I love this song.
I like how also musically, I like how chunky the guitar sounds.
Yes.
It's just that guitar tone. That's another thing with this band. They get the best tones out of every instrument.
They do. Everything like sounds perfect.
It does. Like whatever they're trying to convey, they do it in the most perfect way. Every time. It's pretty remarkable.
Every clean tone that is on here, like here the bass is sharp. It is as sharp as it can possibly be. And then the trumpet's finally making an appearance again, coming back full force. And the trumpet sounds crisp. It's not overpowering. The bass is sharp. And the guitar clean tones are always very... There's like minimal distortion in their clean tones. And I think it's an absolutely perfect tone. I love it.
It's true. But this one does have more of a crunch to it. And it sounds really good when they do the crunch or the chunkiness in their guitars, dude. It's just they know when to bring it in, and this is one of those instances. Was this song? So musically, I think it's really, really good too.
Yes.
Vocally, I mean, I don't know. Both I like both interpretations. I think they're both very valid, and like what you were saying, that they are a bit ambiguous at times, and that leads to these interpretations. So yes. There you go. So that was your number 2.
Yeah.
Is that all you got to say about Long Line of Cars?
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. So my number 2, Arco Arena.
Arco Arena.
The instrumental.
Instrumental. Sometimes this not was instrumental.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty much instrumental. Come on. A few like shouts here and there, but nothing crazy. So it's a very short song, but the acoustic guitar in this, oh my god. Once again, the tone. It's the tone. And it sets up, not only does it sound good, but it sets up the entire, I guess you could say, vibe or tone of the song. You know, it's really good. It
brings up the second half. Like this starts, I mean, literally the second half of the record. Coming off Symphony, this is starting the second half of the record. This bleeds into Comfort Eagle. This is almost like an interlude rather than just an instrumental. But I said like sometimes, because I guess they do sing sometimes when they play live. There are lyrics to this song.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, when they play the song live, I guess they add lyrics, but it's strictly like Sacramento nods. Because Arco Arena, I think, is where the Kings played or something up in Sacktown. Who gives a fuck? Sacramento's a dumb town anyway.
Yeah, Sacramento's a terrible city.
It breeds like the worst people. All the politicians go do what they call work in Sacramento for California. Awful city. Whatever. But it's a great instrumental track, and it's a cool tune. It sounds like it's played with minor chords or something. It's a little heavy in tone, but that clean nylon string sounding guitar, it is just absolute money. It sounds fantastic. It is so crisp. You can hear every single note. And we like a lot of times when you hear fingers sliding and things like that. But in this song, because it's so clean. And like he's not like noodling or going crazy or anything, so that's why it can be so clean. But because it's so clean, that lends to like the overall concept of Cake just being a very basic band. And and then the rhythm guitar is throwing out so many chords. There are so many chords being thrown out by the rhythm guitar that it's stupid. It's stupid. It really is. Like, you don't need to do all those. Much like I was talking about in the other pod, where Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead throws out an E while Jerry Garcia is noodling, but Bob Weir will modulate that E 14 different times. That's kind of what's going on here. It's just, it's a
but not to the extreme. Like,
yeah, not to the extreme to where it's obnoxious like Bob Weir does it sometimes, but it's, you know, it's just obnoxious enough to fit the music, but not too much.
Yeah. So I'm going to play a little bit of Arco Arena right now. So here it is from Cake. There it is, Arco Arena from Cake. Damn, I almost forgot the name of the band. So listening to this song this week, and especially right now, that acoustic guitar line, that main lead line, I know I've heard it somewhere. This is like last week.
Yeah, this
when I couldn't figure it out.
You said this.
But this time around, I just realized what it was. And there's a song on a Gorillaz record off of the Fall record that came out in 2010, my favorite Gorillaz record, that has almost that exact same guitar line. So I'm actually looking it up right now to see if there's any sort of like songwriting credit or anything like that.
I mean, the Gorillaz could throw out some homage. I think there's a song on this album that sounds like a Cars song that that, you know, throws like an homage out there. The whatever.
Yeah, because I'm looking right now, just like very quickly I'm looking, and I don't see any reference to this song on this Gorillaz record. Yeah, there's no reference to it, but there is a guitar part on the record The Fall that is that almost exactly that same acoustic guitar line. But I just remembered it. I'm so glad I actually remembered it this time, or figured it out this time.
It wasn't just you that recognized but couldn't figure out from the Yes album.
Because Chris did too.
Friend of the pod, Chris, also recognized that it was something else, but couldn't quite put his fingers on it or thumbs, or both. I don't know what they do over in merry old England,
Birmingham.
If they even call thumbs thumbs.
They probably call it something else. Did they even call hands hands?
It's probably like chips or something they call them.
So dumb. It's not even funny.
You know what's interesting is the first 5 songs, I have one banger.
Really?
And that is just Short Skirt. The last or 6 through 11, I have that's where my next five bangers go.
Actually, you know what? You're right. Boy, I'm the same way. My first 2 bangers are Short Skirt and Arco, and then everything else is on the second half. So I'm the same way.
Interesting.
That's weird. I didn't even think about that till right now. Yeah.
As I was deleting things on my notes, I that's when I noticed that this is a very bottom heavy album, I guess, for me. And
yeah, it is. Okay. So then what do you got for your 3B then?
3B was Short Skirt.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
2B. Yeah. So Pink Ribbon, and then Long Line of Cars, and then Short Skirt, and then Arco Arena was my 4B.
Okay. So then I'll just get into my 3B, I guess, right now. So then my 3B is Comfort Eagle, the title track. This is just a heavier song with the guitar and drums, really, but especially the guitar, that riff. It's so simple, but the heaviness of it is great. And then there's like that, I guess it's a guitar, that lead guitar, but it also kind of sounds like a mandolin. Maybe, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
what is that? I don't know what that instrument is.
It's Dick Dale. Dick Dale's coming in and he's throwing down his like surf rock Mediterranean guitar tone, and that's what's happening in this one. No, it's really not Dick Dale, but that's
no, I know, but the tone.
Yeah,
is that surf?
That's I mean, it's not surf, but I guess now, now that I think about it, it kind of can be surf, yes, because of so like Comfort Eagle is essentially a cool extension from Arco Arena. Like those two songs sequenced fit together nicely. It is purposeful. Comfort Eagle comes off Arco Arena on purpose. Like I said, it is a more interlude from the first half to the second half. Comfort Eagle has that Middle Eastern like twang guitar sound.
What is that?
I think it's just a guitar.
Is it a guitar though? Is it?
Yeah.
Just like kind of reverbed and I don't know. I couldn't quite place it.
I thought it was just had a very real Dick Dale feel to it. And I've been to Sacramento 3 times in my life, and my limited amount of time there means that I'm an expert. And Sacramento, I believe,
Absolutely
is a city that wishes they were like Huntington Beach. And so
they're not even a beach town.
I know. That's the problem. It's an awful town.
I know Sacramento sucks, dude.
So like I think it makes sense because Frisco has its own sound, but Sacramento is not like Frisco. They're very, very different. They're both in the same area, but Sacramento doesn't want to be Frisco. So I think Sacramento wants to be like Southern California. And I think it makes sense if my 3 trips do me justice. It makes sense that they are trying to replicate like a Southern California sound, which is where the Dick Dale surf, reverb, Mediterranean guitar comes in.
Okay, fair.
And it's so like the twang is so over the top. It's almost a joke. It's so prevalent. Like it's so in the front.
It sticks out a lot.
Like you can't miss it.
It's true, but then also that Moog that comes in too. That's some good stuff. I'm kind of a sucker for that. So
there's some subtle Moog over this album that comes in like at these weird times.
Yeah.
But when it does,
and it's
quiet, it creeps in, and it's like, wow, that's really good.
And it's not, and usually when it comes in, it doesn't stay. Like it's only there for certain parts. It's not consistent. So it gives the song almost a sort of excitement, but it doesn't have that rising action like most songs do.
Yeah.
Like we missed the rising action, as the German tourist said.
The German tourist with the funny glasses stole this.
With the funny glasses, yes. The ugliest fucking glasses.
I love those glasses. I would wear them all day.
They're so...
Where do you even get those? They're like tanning glasses. They're like tanning goggles that have been turned into glasses.
Yes, you're very close, yes. Oh God! But much like he said, I missed the rising action when I listened to this band. Where's the rising action? So, man. But otherwise, the song is really good. Lyric wise, what do you got on this one?
I think this is about the overbearing and very crazy world of people trying to change you. We see some examples here from like organized religion, the recording industry. I think. The line that mentions sending a car to find you if you ever lose your mind shows that like we as a society, again, going and then like passing it on to the Long Line of Cars song, like it's easy to lose ourselves because we like it. It's easy to lose ourselves and be part of the problem because of how easy like big corporations make it, how easy like the government makes it. You know, it's like you don't have to think for yourself. Let us think for you. Let me send you a car, pick you up, like casinos, right? Casinos will send you a car because Renee gambles. She gambles big, and so she gets these offers from like the Venetian, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, we'll fly you out for free. We'll send you a limo to pick you up from the airport, and then we'll give you like a free room." And you think like, "Oh, what a deal!" But then it's like, how much is that really costing the casino? And then how much is that really costing us? And so it's easy to lose yourself in these things when people are taking advantage of you. I think that's what Comfort Eagle is about. I think the thought of the title of Comfort Eagle and you know the album title and everything, like if you just think about the words comfort and eagle, which are almost like antonyms in essence, like eagles are never associated with comfort and being like calm.
Yeah.
Right? Eagles are predators. Our fucking national animal is a stupid eagle. Like who? First of all, who even thought that too? Like that's stupid.
Right, yeah.
Our national fucking thing should be like a fucking T-Rex or Velociraptor or something.
What?
Eagle's dumb. A bald
Made
eagle.
up animal.
Okay,
A
cool.
made up animal.
You think a Velociraptor is a made up animal?
I mean, we got fossils and all, but yeah. I mean,
So that's what we're doing.
but they're not.
You ever
like,
seen a
I
rhino
would
in real
rather,
life? Then how you know a
I would
rhino's
rather
real?
I would rather have an animal that still exists, not one that existed billions or millions of years ago.
Just I think Comfort Eagle is funny because it's so the contrast is there. Like nobody thinks of like an eagle and thinks like, oh, that's comforting. You think like, oh, that's an apex predator. Let me follow it to see what it's about to dig its talons into and masticate in front of me.
Well, I feel like the title Comfort Eagle is also a play on like the eagle being the bird of the United States, like the national bird of the United States, and it's like the U.S. It's like the U.S. propaganda or the media propaganda of like, we'll comfort you, we'll be what we're gonna take care of you, but in the end we're gonna rip you apart like a fucking bald eagle would.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like this false sense of security that you're being told to come into, but in the end they're just gonna rip you apart. Much like, you know, like I agree with you, like his references to the music industry, to religion and everything, like they'll pull you in and they'll make you feel good for a while, but then they're just gonna fuck you up and spit you out at the end, much like an eagle would. And much like, I think he's also like making reference to the government and making reference to the media just as a whole within the United States. So I feel like it's a play on that as well. So it's kind of deep when you think about it on this record.
Again, like I think all of his lyrics are very cynical, but in a way that is 100% true and still rings true and even more true today than ever. I think maybe a little ahead of his time, maybe like a little more rage, like Rage Against the Machine, like a little more,
Maybe, yeah.
kind of like in that deep aspect, but just not like the music didn't match. Like the music was, I don't know, like Rage was so one dimensional, great,
Yeah.
but one dimensional. Whereas Cake, they wanted you to think that they're one dimensional, but they were so complex.
But also, this is probably one of the heavier songs on the record,
True.
if not the heaviest song. So I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with like maybe they were trying to like, you know, be inspired by Rage or kind of like an homage to Rage Against the Machine. Only Cake can do, you know. So maybe that's what it is too. Who knows?
That is true.
Big Rage fans. Big Rage fans.
Who isn't a big Rage fan? Like you don't like music if you don't like Rage.
I know.
That's
I mean,
fact.
Rage is just, they're universally liked.
That's fact.
Yeah. They can be a little embarrassing at times, but
very,
you know, whatever.
Very, very, very few times.
Yeah, but when it happens, it's kind of like, ugh. Makes you a little uncomfortable how embarrassing it is. But especially with Tom Morello.
Okay,
God
all
damn.
right.
Anyway. What do you got for your number 4 then? What do you got? Oh, no, that was Arco Arena,
Yeah,
right?
4 was Arc Arena. 5 is Love You Madly.
Let's get into that because that's my number 4. So
And then 6 for me is Comfort Eagle. So after we do Love You Madly, I'm done with bangers.
And then my number 5 is Long Line of Cars. So yeah, it kind of works out. So Love You
Okay.
Madly, we might as well just
This
do
is
that song and then kind of finish it up.
the intro here reminding me of Just What I Needed by the Cars. That ding ding dee 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 dee.
Oh, yes.
But I don't think like any band ever after that song can ever do anything that sounds like it and then not be compared to it. Out of fairness, but it does sound just like it, and I can,
I also
can get it in my head.
I also put down for this song, Love You Madly, that, dude, I've heard this song outside of this record. I've heard this song countless times in commercials, in TV shows, in so many things. This song has been put everywhere. It's so simple. It's so vanilla for I mean, lack of a better word. It's a very vanilla song, but
It
it's
is.
wildly catchy. So I couldn't, like, hearing it again because I haven't heard it in years in the context of this record. And then just I was like this weird, it wasn't even nostalgia, it was just like, oh fuck, I know this song, I've heard this song, I've heard this riff, I've heard this intro hundreds of times, just never knowing it was Cake because I'm watching a commercial and they don't credit Cake. There's just a commercial about banks or something like that, you know, like that. What was that stupid bank commercial, the You're the One?
Because you're the
God,
one.
dude, it's the fucking worst.
That's like Bank
So
One.
it's like one of the,
America or something.
yeah, Bank One Mutual or something like that. But yeah, it's fucking terrible. So that's kind of what this song is. Like I see it in so many bullshit ads. But what do you got on this one? Do you want to play it? What do you want to do?
Whatever you want to do. I like how the bass and guitar play off each other. Both have like their own unique groove, but they find a way to kind of flow with each other. And it's kind of the only time on the album where they're both noodling on their own, but start and end in the same point, kind of like in a jazzy way. It doesn't sound jazzy, but it's kind of like in a jazzy delivery.
Okay.
I dig that. I like it.
I feel like this is, like I was saying, this is like a perfect song to make money too. It's like when people write TV jingles, like they know what they're doing. And I feel like this is what he was doing with this song. Like he knew he wanted to put this song out as like a jingle, not to make the record successful, but to make himself money by selling it to corporations. That's what I feel this song is. But it's one of those few moments where it is actually a pretty damn good song.
Damn, my lyric read through now like coincides with that money grabbing aspect. I thought like literally this was about being in a relationship and then only thinking about the present and not looking at like the future, which I mean, there's really nothing wrong with like living in the moment type of thing. Yeah. But usually like as humans and societal pressures, we take things farther. We start to get to know people and get more involved with our significant other. And this song he didn't want nothing to do with that. He wanted no part of that. He wanted just the right now part. But I think like that's interesting that you say that he's writing a song just to make money right now.
That's what it seems like. I don't know. And I'm basing that strictly on the music itself and the melody of the song. And
I mean, it fucking opens up with like a play on Just What I Needed by the Cars, which is
that's
iconic.
Another one that just I totally agree with you. Makes sense.
Okay.
So, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just play a little bit of "Love You Madly" and then we'll get more into it. Here we go. There it is, "Love You Madly" from Cake.
The Cake.
Dude, this song, even in the context of this record, this song doesn't really fit too because it doesn't have that quirkiness. It's just straight up pop rock.
Yeah.
And that opening guitar riff or that opening kind of instrumental part that is catchy, that dum I can't even do it right now.
That's close. That's fine.
No, it wasn't even close at all. But it feels like I'm watching like a car commercial. Like you're watching like a Jeep commercial and they're going through like a rugged terrain of like a jungle or like a forest or something like that. And then all of a sudden it's open road and they're flying across the desert. It's just like it looks like a car commercial to me. When I listen to it, I think of a car commercial.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like that song, "Just What I Needed," it was in a lot of car commercials. Like that is a joke song, and that album by the Cars is pop rock, I guess, at its best. But
or its most used, I guess.
So it's to make a song that seemingly starts off the same and then, I don't know, checks all of the boxes of what makes a good song, chord progression wise, vocal melody wise, things like that. It's fine. It's okay. But I like to think that there's a little bit more to it than just writing a song to get rich and famous. Cause I don't think that's what John's about.
Yeah, I agree. He does. I mean, I don't know him obviously, but
I know
he doesn't seem like that. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy, based off of everything that he's put out with Cake. You know, it's just.
And look at the video. Like the video, they could have done something. This is like arguably one of the most boring music videos that has ever been done.
I know.
It is so like I love cooking
know.
shows. I love watching cooking shows. But like this is so lame.
Dude, I was watching. I was when a couple nights ago. I was I was just watching the cake music videos, and I threw this one on, and Tammy's like, "Ooh, what is he cooking?"
Yeah,
And
she thought it was a show, right?
She thought it was like real, and like I kind of, for like a minute, I was just like let her like kind of go with it because I was like, when's the joke gonna start? Like, why are they cooking a pumpkin? Like, where's the joke?
No,
and then after like a minute, I'm like, there's no joke. This is like just weird cake. And I told her like, this is just a music video. Like, I'm not sure if this is a joke. And she was like really interested in the cooking. And then of course, fucking Rick James comes out. Phyllis Diller comes out with her whole getup. And once Phyllis Diller came out, I was just like, dude, I thought it was so funny because Phyllis Diller is just, she was out of her mind. Like, just out of her mind funny. She was just so hilarious.
She was so reserved. Rick James was so reserved. And it was just, it was literally like watching Beat Bobby Flay. Like it was just like watching Cutthroat Kitchen or something. It was so boring. And then what they were cooking, like I watch a lot of cooking shows because Renee watches a lot of cooking shows. Yeah. What they were cooking, that ain't no joke. They made a fucking full-on meal in an hour. Like, I don't know if they actually cooked those meals, but that was no joke. That was a lot of work that is only for next level chefs. That was not no picnic that they cooked.
Oh, it was so dumb. And that's the craziest thing too. It's because like everything about the video was so serious, but then you throw in those two in there of Rick James and Phyllis Diller, and see that's another thing that makes this band this album so interesting music video wise and musically really. So when you look at a video like Short Skirt Long Jacket, that was like one of the very first reaction videos, and especially one of the very first reaction videos where the band was okay with people criticizing them and then putting it out there. Because obviously nowadays with YouTube, there are just millions upon millions of reaction videos. That's what like probably what at least a quarter of YouTube is.
Yeah, seriously.
People reacting to something, you know? But back in 2001, there was no YouTube. The internet was still in its infancy, especially social media wise. And there was no such thing as a proper reaction video like Short Skirt. That was unheard of. And I feel like that's why it was so popular. And that really was the lead up to what we kind of know now as YouTube, and what's on, or at least what's posted on YouTube and what's popular on YouTube are all these reaction videos. And it's crazy. And then when you look at the cooking shows, this even like the video for Love You Madly, I think this is like a setup for what we were going to see with like American Idol or seeing with any cooking show, because before that, or Celebrity Chef, because at this point in 2001, there were no shows like with celebrities on them. There were no shows like with celebrity guests or celebrity judges. It was always just, it was either if it was like a judgment show, it was like very, very serious. So I feel like this is like the beginning of all of the bullshit that we have nowadays. It was very ahead of its time.
I agree and disagree. I agree because, I don't know when it happened, but there was a turning point in cooking shows, right? When we were kids, you turn on the Food Network and you would literally watch Rachel A. or Paula D. cook fucking food. But then
that was it. There was no judging.
Sometime it turned into like competitions. I disagree saying that the competitions are dumb. I love the competitions.
But in the end, we all know they're stupid, silly, and dumb.
But they're better. Actually, it's funny because like at first I thought they were better than just watching like Rachel A. cook. But now I wish I would just watch somebody cook something that I want to cook and like teach me how to do it. Because then you're now learning they go to
something.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So yeah, you're right though. Like this is a basic song that is cheesy, and like everything about it is cheesy, and the video is dumb, and this band is so dumb.
They're so dumb, but I feel like they were very cognizant, and they were very like they knew what was going to be popular in the end. Like they were the first to do this. Like I don't know. I give them so much credit for these, especially these two music videos, because I feel like they're ahead of their time, for
They're-
sure ahead of their time.
If you were to
Because they
show,
predate all that shit.
if you were to like show somebody a picture of like Rachel Ray now, someone who's never watched cooking shows or whatever, they may recognize her. But if you play like Short Skirt or like The Distance, people know the song. And I think that's the difference
True.
between like the Babe Ruth quote from Sandlot: "Heroes get remembered, but legends never die."
Never die. Yeah.
Cake are now like legends.
I feel like they are, yeah. I feel like they are. And they were never like, and the craziest thing too is that they were never this like, this mainstay. They were never this like legendary band. But I feel like these two videos, they are legendary because they represent what was to come within like reality TV, really reality TV. Because you can argue that reaction videos are reality TV, just in a short version.
But like, yeah, going again back to the reaction video. It's like to show somebody like a fail or somebody falling or something shocking, and then watching their reaction is one thing. But to give somebody or let somebody listen to Short Skirt, that song is not crazy. It is not.
No.
You know, it's not like groundbreaking. It's not something so insane. And then watch their reaction. Everyone's reaction like, yeah, it's cool. I don't like it. Oh, it's whatever. Like the boring reactions from a boring song by a boring band is it's some next level shit. It really
is next level. And when you think about like reality shows, like, because I feel like American Idol was the first like negative reality like judging show where you had, because Simon Cowell obviously was an asshole on the show. And so that was like 2 years after, say it was 2 years after this video. And so I feel like producers and people at networks saw like, you know, this video was huge at the time. In 2001, it was like one of the most requested videos on TV at the time. And then they see, okay, well, we see all this reaction to just like normalcy and just kind of like weirdness. So let's like just make a total fucking asshole and see how that, or make a character on our reality show a total asshole and see how that goes. And that's what American Idol did with Simon Cowell. You know, there was enough balance there with like the good singers and the good auditions, but everybody loved all the shit stuff, and they loved Simon Cowell being an asshole. So I feel like really that video is the start of what we know as modern judgment, modern reality judgment, I guess you could say. I don't know.
It's hard to
I was kind of blown away.
It's hard to disagree because like American Idol for sure started when we were in high school, and that's how I gauge everything is when we were in high school. So like American Idol for sure started in high school, and I know it started after this.
Oh, it totally was. I think it was like 2003, 2004 when the first season of American Idol, which I watched. I mean, me and...
Who didn't? It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, everybody fucking watched it.
The first 4 seasons of American Idol were great.
I watched like the
3
first
seasons.
2. Yeah, I think I watched the first 2 and then I was kind of over it. But yeah, no, I mean, I was into it just like most of America. I was a high school kid. I was dumb. So
well, it was the first, whatever it's worth. The first couple seasons were interesting. They were good, but it was just like an extrapolation of what Cake did in 3 minutes.
Yeah. And it's also like a viewpoint of like how we started to transition as a society from watching like all this uplifting stuff, all this positive affirming stuff, to watching people fail. Because even when we did the CKY episode a few weeks ago, we talked about how like Bam kind of revolutionized the whole skate industry, video industry, with watching, because he was like the proponent of like, watch me fail a bunch of times and then watch me succeed doing the trick. So he kind of like, he was very much into like the crash and burn and the funniness and the silliness of it all. And then eventually, you know, that's what everybody started doing. You started to get more TV shows, more reality shows like Jackass, and then everything after Jackass, like just watching people like fuck up and fail. And like shows like Survivor, like, I mean, I was never into that show, but that show was all about people fucking up.
Love Survivor.
You know, there was never really anything positive affirming with those shows. Even to this day, there's nothing really like that. So it's like a lot of these early guys, like Bam with skate videos, he kind of didn't start it, but he kind of made it popular. The guys in Cake, you know, they were early proponents of this style of entertainment. So
It's the
I don't know,
it's a
it's weird.
self-deprecating aspect of it, because I mean skate videos were
Yeah.
around long before BAM, but what BAM did
Mhm.
was instead of showing 15 lands on a trick with one fail, it was like 14 fails with
And
one,
one land.
trick that landed. And so it's that self-deprecating fact. It's that humbling aspect that makes people want to watch, for whatever reason, other people fail at things. Whether it be
Yeah, but-
because it humanizes them or because we like to watch people fail, I don't know. But
I think at
that's-
some point it started as a humbling thing, like to kind of show that we're all kind of normal and human. Like these people doing all these crazy things are normal and human. But then I think it got to the point where it became so marketed and it became so much like, let's just watch the failures. Let's make the failures and the shitty people seem better than everybody that's good. You know, like when you look back at early, I mean, bring it back to American Idol, like you remember William Hung. You don't remember
Yeah.
like the first 4 season winners, like maybe
I
one,
do.
like Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson, Clay Aiken, Fantasia, and then Carrie Underwood. First 4. Boom.
Okay, but outside of
Kelly Clarkson.
outside of her, Kelly Clarkson, what other songs do you remember by any of those other 4 artists? You don't. You
None.
remember William Hung doing She Bangs. You know, I mean, you remember that. That's what you remember.
Love it.
And you remember the video. You remember how he moves and he dances. You remember how he's dressed. You remember all that.
It's because
But Kelly
we're
Clarkson.
a
You
society.
remember since we've been gone.
We are a
acoustic
society
version.
that likes to make fun of people, but pretend that we are on their side, and that's
Exactly.
like William Hung. William Hung. Everybody was making fun of him, and even still to this day, like when I just laugh, like it's because he was funny, and like I don't know him, and I'm not going to look him up, and I don't care to know him, because we are a society that likes to make fun of people and
Mhm.
and not really care about who they are as people. Not that we don't care about them as people. It's just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We're a society of dicks.
We are, and then we all pretend that we actually care. You know, it's like
yeah.
we'll make fun of like William Hung, and then I don't know. I'm not even going to go down that path. Never mind.
Because it's true. Like if William Hung, I don't know, because he is so iconic though. Like if he had like a GoFundMe because he got cancer, he got sick, people would donate to it just as much as they would donate to Clay Aikens. But
Yeah.
there's so many more William Hungs than there are Clay Aikens that people don't care about. Like the guy who did the D's Nuts thing, right?
Oh God.
Like that was a funny video, but we laughed because he was funny, but not because he was like a funny guy we knew. We were making fun of him. And
pretty
it's
much.
fucked up. And he died. He's dead.
No, did he really?
He's dead.
The D's Nuts guy died?
Yeah. He died like last year.
What?
He's gonzo.
What?
I don't know of saying D's nuts too much. I don't know.
No
Dude,
way, I
how
did not
great
know he died.
how great would it be though, like your dying words, your dying confession. You just say you say everybody come close, come close, come close. And you just go D's nuts and then fucking die. Oh.
No, but you got to say
Epic.
got him before you die. You got to say the got him. Come on. Got him.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
That would be the ultimate way to go.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better. Oh my gosh. That would be so good. Got him dead.
Or even if it was like a whisper, like a whisper to somebody, like saying "these nuts," and then got him, and then just like end it. Like it doesn't have to be a yell like in the video. It could be like a whisper would be better.
Wow. That's one of the funniest things I've heard in like fucking a week. That's pretty good. That is unbelievable. That would be so good. I'm crying. That would be so funny. I'm going to bring that up.
Oh,
I'm going to
God.
bring that up casually in conversation now. That's good. Oh,
You know.
damn, Gina.
All right. So, do we got anything else on "Love You Madly"?
No?
We really went down a rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how
okay.
we ended up there.
Yeah, that was wild.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is a great album. It was good. A lot of good stuff. I still have a bunch of notes and everything else, but whatever. It's
We
fine.
can talk about other stuff.
No, it's fine. We got the bulk of it down. We got
the best of the best.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, but, honestly, we've agreed upon almost everything when it comes to bangers. Like all of our bangers match, just in slightly different order, but all of our okay songs are pretty much the same. So it's kind of nice for the most part.
I think Shadow Stabbing is the only other song lyrically that I thought was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was it's fine. We went over it, so it's cool. I'm happy with it.
That's a pretty dark song too. I mean, I think that one is straight up about suicide, and there's nothing really hidden in that song.
Oh, well, if we're getting into it, I guess we'll get into it.
Actually, let's do it really quick too, because I did want to mention that main guitar riff in that song is very Authority song from Jimmy Eat World.
Ooh.
Very much that. Did you pick up on that?
It does. It goes from being like a rock band to a more loose funk sound, and that's what Authority song does. The Authority song hits that guitar riff in the middle or in the beginning, and then eventually goes into a punk sound. But there's a little bit of funk in there. There's a little bit like that. Those chicka chickas that going on. So yeah, I get it. It's a little carefree, and I also got kind of like a Sugar Ray kind of vibe here.
Yeah, I can see the Sugar Ray. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely more pop oriented, which is interesting too, because lyrically the song is way dark lyrically. So it's that opposite thing when it comes to songs, which is interesting.
Yeah,
but
it's a nice contrast. It's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of explicit lyrically too. He's pretty straight up with it about his suicidal thoughts and ideations and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's an important song to just kind of bring up, at least for lyrically and that riff, because it's like Authority song. So
Authority song.
Dude, that song is so good. So do you have anything else? What else do you have on Shadow Stabbing?
No, that was it. I think the idea of Shadow Stabbing also. I mean, I didn't think it was straight like suicidal stuff, depression for sure, but I think it's stemming from like a problem the narrator can't seem to fix. So like the title Shadow Stabbing, right? It's playing on the idea that if you literally stab a shadow, you're mimicking the real thing without actually doing it. So if you want to kill somebody, but you're too scared, you're too unsure to do it, you stab their shadow. It feels like, looks like you're doing it, but you're not actually doing it. So it's kind of that play on depression, where I want to do something, but I can't quite pull myself to do it. So I will do something a little bit less to make myself feel a little bit accomplished or whatever. And the imagery of a typewriter and the fighter aspect, it builds on the thoughts that we formulate before entering a fight or argument. Before we, like the when we're younger and we tell our significant others or be told this, we need to talk. Or you get that text, we need to talk. Like, that's never a good text. That's who the fuck, like, what?
And
what?
Even talking about it, it's so cliche to talk about, but it's like one of the most realistic scenarios everybody can relate to.
Nothing good ever. We need to talk. I just won the lottery. Like, never fucking happens. It's always negative. And so like that I don't know, that typewriter thought where you formulate arguments, you say, okay, if I say this, they may say this. If they say this, then I will come back with this. So you start loading your gun, you start loading your arguments. And I think that also ties into like the steel eye and tight jaw. The steel eye is like that death stare. The tight jaw represents like a sort of tight-lipped about your true feelings. And I think this is just about like some problem that the narrator can't fix, and maybe doesn't want to fix, or maybe doesn't have the heart to fix, or whatever, and it leads to like a manic depression.
Okay, I mean I actually really like that interpretation. That's something very different, but It could very well be that, or it could be a mixture of both. Honestly,
I mean, no matter
knowing
what,
how ambiguous he is,
this is a sad song for sure.
Oh yeah, totally. And then throwing in the fact that it's so poppy and pop rock.
Yes, Papa Rock.
Papa Rock, yes,
Papa Rock.
Greatest band ever. But no, this was a really good one. Sad at times too, lyrically, depending on kind of how you're viewing it. But yeah, agreeing with you, man. Like that moment where we've all been there.
We need to talk. Oh fuck! Here we go.
Yeah, or I need to tell you something, or you know, something along those lines. It's like, oh, dude, like what the fuck?
And then, like, depending on where you're at in that relationship, is how you take it. It's like we need to talk, and then you think like, oh my god, my world is ending. That means like you're gonna get crushed hard, or
it's like,
or if it's like we need to talk, and like, oh, finally, fuck yeah, I'm off the hook. Then it's like you've probably been kind of a dick for the past couple months.
Yeah. Or depending on the text or call you get, it's like, okay, I know I'm at fault here, or I know that this other person is at fault. Like you know, like you kind of know how to gauge it.
Yeah,
like, we need to talk. Like I know that like I mean, you pretty much already kind of said it too. Like they want to say I want to break up, or like I know you did something fucking stupid, and I'm ready to like rip you apart. So you just, I mean, dude, we've both been there.
It's just it's
fucked.
we were kids. Like you learned. Like we're not. I don't know. We've done a lot of very bad things to people, and we've learned from it. We've grown from it. We are better for it. And unfortunately, it comes at the expense of others. But we can only move forward.
But also, those other people that we've done stuff to have done things to other people.
Right.
You know, it's not one-sided too.
Humans are bad for the beings. Most part. We are awful beings on this earth, and we treat each other worse than we treat the earth. And so it's just all we can do is learn. All we can do is move forward. Most importantly, it is what it is.
No, well, it's not. But okay, first things first, second things second. You know,
I've never heard anybody ever say second things second. So that's if I ever heard somebody that say that in RL, like in real life, I would lose my shit.
Well, go listen to that song. Go listen to that song. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now. Hold on.
I was watching King of the Hill and Peggy, who I've always really disliked, but in the early season, she's actually a really, really good mom. She's very, very strong, very independent. But they write her off in the later seasons as just being obnoxious. But she says this thing. She says, "Fucking bitch, motherfucker, goddamn." What'd she say?
Is that what she says?
She says they're looking for something. She says it's always in the last place you look. And then there's like a little pause, and like it zooms in on her face, and she says, because after you find it, you stop looking. And it's like a total joke on like that saying. And I thought that was so funny.
That is actually really good. That is really good. I'd never thought of it like that.
It's always in the last place you look, because after you find it, you stop looking. Like it's such a douchey way to like call somebody out for saying a cliche term like that.
Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, so I'm looking at the lyrics to this Imagine Dragons song. So the song itself is called Believer. Terrible fucking song. I'm not even gonna play it because we'll probably get flagged for it anyway. So the lyrics are, some of the lyrics are, first verse is first things first, second verse is second things second, and then at the very end, well, not only that, but they say that multiple times throughout the song. So like they pretty much repeat the same verses over and over again, almost like their choruses, which is really annoying. But then what they put at the end is last things last.
Things last.
Things last. Yeah. So I forgot about that until right now when I was going through the lyrics. But yeah, no, that song is not only is just everything about that song is terrible. The lyrics, the music, the vocals, everything is just awful.
So
have you ever heard that song?
No. I don't understand Imagine Dragons because I think what little music I've heard from them is just absolutely awful. But
it's so bad.
I did. For a brief period, I did follow a different podcast, and they're a big fan of Dan, and Dan is a fun guy.
Dan Reynolds?
Yeah.
The singer? Oh, are you talking about Blink-155?
I don't want to bring the name up, but
Fuck it,
Yeah,
let's do it.
Dan's a fun guy, and I don't
He
understand
seems so super cool. Yeah.
like how that fun of a guy can be in such a stupid fucking band.
I don't understand it either. I feel like actually, so I still listen to that podcast every once in a while because they're not a Blink podcast anymore. But I still listen when they do a song that I like. I'll listen. And it was like 2 weeks ago they were doing a punk song. They were doing a Green Day song. And they were talking about how some bands start off super cool and then they never are able to regain that coolness. But then there are some bands who start off really cheesy. So once they do something cool, they already have the fan base of the cheesiness, but then they're also respected by others because what they're doing later in their career is really cool and really good. And he was referencing kind of Imagine Dragons in that, he created all this like really cheesy, stupid shit. But I guess like deep down in the surface, he does some really cool stuff. And same with the guy from Fun, because they're friends with the guy from Fun as well.
Ugh.
Or the Format, and it's the same situation. Like they've done a lot of stupid shit, but then they've done enough. But they did that stuff first, and then now they're kind of like going back and doing cool stuff, so it's okay. So he brought up like the idea that like depending on what they do first is how you can kind of how people kind of view them from like a good standpoint. I don't know if that makes any sense. But.
It makes total sense because like what you're saying is, I mean, we do judge bands based off of this, and my favorite band of all time is based off of this mindset. Is your report card. Like Weezer started off, their first 2 albums are absolutely perfect, and they will be my favorite band forever because of something they did fucking 20 years, 30 years ago almost.
Yeah.
So that's your report card does say a lot about you. And
but I feel like it's how you start out. So it's like if you make like a few shitty like pop records in the beginning, but then like 4 or 5 records down, you're starting to make these like awesome like just say prog records or like really good prog records or really good punk records, metal records. You're like, wow, this shit's really good. I never knew this band could do that. So you end up like respecting the band, even though you don't like their early stuff. You end up liking their stuff more because of what they've done later. But then if a band does the opposite of that, like Green Day or Weezer, where everything up front is so good, but everything after that is mediocre to bad, like you judge those two bands very, very differently.
That is true.
So it was an interesting take from Josiah when he was talking about that, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, it's the idea of progress rather than, like downsizing your sound.
True. Very true.
But Green Day, that's not entirely fair because some of the stuff, 6 albums later is better than 39 Smooth and Kerplunk.
Nah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
American Idiot's not that bad.
American
it's pretty
Idiot's
good.
Bad.
It's pretty good.
American Idiot's bad. No, it's bad. It's
okay.
bad.
Well, it's pretty
It's not
good.
that good. Yeah, some good
Father of All, it's pretty good.
stuff. Dude, it's not. Fuck you.
Just saying. Just saying.
It's so like untrue. Okay, so what do we got? Do we want to talk about anything more, or do you want to wrap it up and give our ranking or ratings and then finish it, or what do you think?
I'm good. All of my major talking points I'm done with.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so we have a 3-point ranking. Oh, dude,
Yep.
we have a 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but you should give it a shot, and 0 is a trash fire. So so what are your final thoughts, Jeff, on this record and your rating? What do you got? Go.
So like when I usually listen to this, when we usually listen to this, we do like this album first, right? Our album of the week is first. Listen to it once, and then go through the discography, including the album of the week, and then do like the notes afterwards. Another lyric listen through, another music listen through. When I first listened to this on its own, I thought it was okay. I was like, dude, this is dumb. Like this is just, this is so vanilla. This is so stupid. This is just, this is stupid. This is fucking, this is so basic. I can't even imagine. But then going through Cake's discography, and I started with Motorcade. Like that's their first album. That's where I would start. Obviously at the beginning, first things first, of course.
Yeah.
And I I said, okay, this is weird because this is also very stupid and very simple. Like, did they ever get better? And then going from the 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, they don't get better, but then they kind of do. So what that means...
It's so hard to explain.
I know. What that means is this band really, really tries hard to be boring. This band tries their damnedest to be boring, to be vanilla. These are like the guys at the party who just talk about, I don't know, fucking something so seemingly boring. But the moment you engage in conversation, they are fucking experts at whatever they are talking about. These are the Captain Holts of this genre. Captain Holt is seemingly the most fucking boring, drab person on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a fantastic comedy TV show. But
it's so good.
on the surface, he is like the most boring person ever. But the more you watch, the more you listen, the more you love. And that's Cake, man. Cake, even though I hated some of their later albums, I cannot get away from this. I thought this was so interesting. And this is one of the most interesting bands that we've done in a long time. Yeah. Maybe even ever, because of their sound. A lot of bands that we do that are interesting have a unique sound that is unique to them. But Cake is a sound that is unique to them, but it's masked in mediocrity.
Yeah, I can see that.
This band is a C+ student that really is crazy smart, but wants everyone to believe they're a C+ student, and that's it. I don't even fucking know, man.
Maybe the greatest C+ student of all time.
I can't even, dude. I don't even know. I literally cannot even I can't put my thumb on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to properly articulate how I feel about this band, other than the fact that this is the most interesting, boring band I've ever heard in my life.
What a weird combination. A combination that shouldn't exist.
And that is what they want. That is, I feel like that's exactly what they set out to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
So this is not my favorite album by them. I would buy a lot of their albums on vinyls, but they're fucking crazy expensive, of course, because they're the little cuck now.
They never really repress them. So
yeah, they're just whatever. So yeah, so this is great. I had a great time with it. I probably give this a solid 2.5. This is a rock.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
Because
this record,
I think like musically, it's not there for me. I think Motorcade. I think Motorcade's a perfect 3. I really do. I think Motorcade is a perfect 3. Musically, it's just some of the craziest shit I've ever heard. It's fucking insane. And and we talk a lot about like these huge prog bands like Magma and Yes and these other bands, and it's like, dude, they achieved that kind of mind-blowing stuff with doing basic shit.
Dude, we've literally talked about the polar opposites when it comes to bands. We go from Yes to fucking Cake. But yet they're just so wildly
impressive.
Yeah. Impressive is the best word. Yeah. But they just do this polar opposites of one another.
Like Yes tries so, and you can hear it a lot. Yes tries so hard to be edgy and to be fantastic. And I mean, I don't want to rehash what we already talked about last week, but Cake also in the same vein, they try really hard to be not. They try really hard to be mundane, to be boring, to be vanilla, to be plain old people.
Yeah.
This is the best plain old people band I've ever heard.
Better than the Foo Fighters, huh?
Oh, dude. Foo Fighters try hard to not be plain old people, but are plain old people.
So 2.5 for you. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So my final thoughts. I mean, mine and Jeff's experience with this one is a little bit different because I did have some nostalgia with it. And I have heard this record many times, this and Fashion Nugget, like I said. But going through their discography it really changed my viewpoints on this band. And I agree with you way more than I had prior to listening through. And the fact that, you know, they are a boring band, but they do it intentionally. Like, they know what they're doing. They're very, very calculated, or at least they come off like they are very calculated with what they do. And they just kill it. They kill it every step of the way. They don't have a bad record. This record, I mean, Short Skirt, Long Jacket, I think it's an absolute genius of a song with instrumental wise, vocally, lyrically. I think it's just, and the videos for that song are just, it's perfection. That song through and through is perfection. And this record, for the most part, it's fantastic. There's no duds, no really low points, a lot of good high points. And with that said, I mean, you touched upon a lot already, so I'm not going to rehash it, but I'm going to have to give this one a 2.5 as well. I would never give any Cake record above a 2.5, but yeah, no, this record is absolutely solid. If it was like $20 or less, I'd for sure get it on vinyl. But it's
$20 or less.
Oh, come on. This is coming from you fucking cheapskate over here with vinyl. Get the fuck out of here.
But like, if we do an album of the week, if I saw Supernatural even on vinyl for like $15, I'd buy it.
By Santana?
Yeah.
You're a fucking idiot. You
just for like pure joke aspect and nostalgia purposes.
Even then, it's not worth it. That's just silly boy talk. Come on. Get the fuck out of here.
SBT.
Oh, God. Okay, so do we have anything else to say about this one, or what do you want to do?
No, that's it. That's all.
Okay. So go to Apple Podcasts, go rate and review us on there. Give us 5 stars. Don't give us shitty. Don't be a Bocephus. Don't give us 1 star or anything like that. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Also, keep listening. Thank you all for listening for as long as you have. And social media at Asinine Radio if you didn't already know. And we're pretty far along. So let's just get the fuck out of here.
Sure.
And that's it. That's all. Good.
And right. Dang, get your buddies and their heinies.
Buddies and heinies, yep. That's all you need in life. All you need in life.
Buddies and heinies.
Diet. This has Burt McCracken, the singer from
boy.
The Used. This song was stupid. I mean, it was just stupid. I was trying to interpret it the best way I could for myself.
Interpretate it.
And wait.
That'll be
interpret
when you in post when you're splicing this one up and you hear yourself say interpretate, that'll be a good one.
Interpretate.
That'll be a fun one. Interpretate. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's so bad. It's so terrible.
It's pretty. It's all right.
Interpret.